Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and we're back with the next ICG webinar where we're joined by these lovely people from the ICG who are going to teach you how social media can win you more landlords and more vendors. So the questions I want to ask is, what is the best social media platform to attract landlords and vendors, and the best way to utilize them? So first, I'd like to go to Kristjan Byfield, the Viking estate, a letting agent in London. Kristjan, you're a letting only agent. What social media do you use to attract landlords?
So, I mean, we've found for us, Facebook is probably the best engager sort of from a community message basis. In terms of targeting professional landlords, we find LinkedIn works quite well. But it is a long haul strategy. I would echo a lot of what you've said in a lot of your videos. You have to be very careful on your messaging. In terms of, I think we've made every mistake you can make over the years of shouting about rewards, shouting about reviews, et cetera, and really what we find, particularly in LinkedIn, when we're targeting professional landlords, is it's very tangible stuff. So anything about results, results that we've achieved on properties that we've shifted, statistical facts like, if we can prove that we've massively driven down voids or we've resolved a very complex situation that could have been costly effectively, things like that, real sort of case studies of how our service differentiates and delivers for agents. So that's what we found.
Interesting you use the word, I use the word story, you use the word case study, and that is the most powerful way that you can get inside a human's head, is using the power of stories. Kristjan, you said targeting landlords. You're based in Shoreditch, obviously, with a beard like that, you cool hipster. How do you actually target a landlord on LinkedIn?
So look, I think excellent knowledge of our business, Chris. I think one of the challenges that we've had is in London, identifying what a landlord is per se is very difficult. Probably 60% of our existing client base are international. They're actually, a lot of them are British citizens, but living internationally. And I would say probably 2/3 of our portfolio are accidental landlords and about 1/3 are intentional. So the answer to that question is there's no easy answer. We just try and focus on our content and grow our connection network to give us the broadest coverage possible, and try and keep our stories and case studies relevant so that they get engagement from people that would buy into that.
Absolutely bang on, because remember, especially with LinkedIn, because no one really shares or comments, is that you've got to get the connections to read the comments, your posts. I think we'll go to Brad in a second, but any of you who are watching, especially in London, who are going to get your land registry certificates, why don't you put that name into social media, into LinkedIn, and actually go and find them, because you'll probably find they do live abroad, and then they'll start reading your stuff. Okay, let's go live to Bradley now. What have you got to add to this, Bradley?
I'd add that we've got three main things. You've got your engagement with your professionals, your vendors, just like Kristjan was saying, and your suppliers and all the others. Those are best on LinkedIn because it's centered around the professionals, but also it helps you build your brand, and it helps you increase your brand awareness to those people. For Twitter, it helps you maximize your search engine presence, and it's also very easy to put in feeds and integrations to place your properties and your services in there and to keep it fresh and alive. So to maximize your ability for people to find you, Twitter is very important. Facebook, with its messaging and its one-to-one engagement, is very good for brand building and maintaining your business and growing it organically and engaging with people. So 3 separate platforms, 3 different purposes.
Good stuff. Let's go to Ben Sellers now. You're the king of when it comes to Facebook advertising, and also actually putting adverts in front of the right people. Tell us a bit more about that, and anything else you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that there's a number of different tricks we use. We actually like to use Google in conjunction with Facebook, in that, we bid on words locally through Google, how much is my property worth in Shoreditch, and all these different kind of terms like that. We draw traffic into the website. We have the Facebook pixel. We start remarketing. So that's one route. The other route is obviously we've got just straight targeting with Facebook, where we literally target an area. We use tools, we use little ads such as Dataloft information to big up Rory's team at Dataloft. data loft, spriffs information, instant valuations. People just love knowing what their properties are worth and finding out what their house price is in their areas. So that works really well. And then of course there's you've got your existing database, and you can pop that into Facebook and create lookalike audiences. So instantly you can target similar people, similar types of audiences. So those are a couple of routes that we use and working really well.
Excellent. Let's go to Rob Wellstead. Rob, you work for Callwell, but you've just recently sold your many branch network with over 3,500 properties under management. So you know your onions when it comes to running a letting agency. What social media platforms did you use to utilize to attract landlords?
So by far the best for us was a combined approach with a Facebook post on information that is relevant to landlords in the area. And our business was a lettings only business, so we weren't in sales at all. But when new changes to the market were happening, whether that be thinking back, everything from fire and furnishing regulations to gas safety regulations to more recently selective licensing in some of the areas that we were operating, we didn't just do a post saying watch out for selective licensing. We would run a webinar, we would have an ebook, we would have boosted posts with email campaigns to all customers, but a really detailed knowledgeable expertise on that particular change to the market, and we found that engaged a massive amount of landlords to our platform, and we would end up converting. Even on selective licensing recently, we would have landlords coming to us because they thought we were the selective licensing authority in the area, because we bought all of the keywords and all of that, and the local authorities tend to not be as hot on social media as a small independent agent can be. So we found that quite effective.
Interesting that from what a few of you are saying, is if you put all your eggs in one basket, as in just Facebook, you're almost, you know, it's the power of bringing two, you know, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. You know, what Ben said, you know, you're driving, people are searching on Google, bring them to your website, you put a Facebook pixel, which for anyone who doesn't know, that's like a little cookie, which means that they know damn well that because your Facebook, because of Google, you said landlords in Luton, say, or problems of landlords in Luton, that we know damn well that they're a landlord in Luton because they clicked on the Google ad that said landlords in Luton, which means now we can start chucking Luton stuff at them about the property market and bring them into sales funnels. Have I hit that on the head there?
Yeah, I think you have. And by the way, Instagram, we didn't mention that one, but actually we do find Instagram for the right kind of properties, and also the specific, if it's very image driven and it's a nice little punchy 15-second animation or something, they can work really well, again, for the right properties in the right areas.
Okay. I think it's just got to be a combined approach, really, Christopher. I mean, every single campaign we did, we used to use Peter Knight's hemp, and we had our questionnaire. We'd always fill it in, and we followed it. We knew what the result was. We knew how to measure it, and we would follow that criteria. And for us, that worked really, really well.
Okay, last 20 seconds for Bradley before we have to go.
I think it's important also to stress that there's the advertising, like Ben was talking about, to reach people, and then there's the engagement to drive that business through, which the messaging and the other platforms can give you.
I want to thank you all today for your insight. I hope you guys out there in estate and letting agency land have found that useful. If you need any more information, do contact the ICG. We'll be happy to help you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.